Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, and welcome to this Masters of Horror Season 1 episode review video as part of my current February 2024 series. So we're getting close to the end here. We've got three episodes left, two after this review, um, which, of course, I'm taking a look at all 13 episodes on this Masters of Horror Season 1 collection here. So today we're going to go ahead and take a look at episode 9 from season 1 entitled Fair-Haired Child. Um, so this is the ninth episode of the first season of Masters of Horror. It originally aired in North America on January 6, 2006. A 15-year-old outcast named Tara is kidnapped by a strange couple and locked in a basement with their son, who has a dark secret. So basically, so we're introduced to this young girl named Tara. Though a pretty talented teenage girl is not liked at her school and has no friends. Upon returning home one day, she is kidnapped and drugged. She awakens in a mansion in the company of a woman in a nurse's outfit and attempts to reach out to her mother through the telephone, but the nurse seems strangely unfazed by her daughter's flight. Or I'm sorry, her mother seems strangely unfazed by her daughter's flight. After the call disconnects, the nurse starts asking personally invasive questions, like whether Tara has been baptized or whether she has ever had sexual intercourse in her life. After Tara notices that she has been taken away from home and tries to run away, the nurse and her male partner lock her inside the basement where Tara finds a young boy hanging from a noose close to death. She saves him and the two form a bond. The boy, Johnny, is sweet and kind but cannot talk. He has to communicate by writing in the dust. With Johnny's assistance, Tara uncovers cryptic warnings on the walls, such as "Beware of the fair-haired child." The two discover a room with numerous backpacks and a bloody bathtub, showing that they are not the first victims. So yeah, that's the setup and the premise for episode 9, Fair Haired Child from season 1 of Masters of Horror. As far as the cast goes, we have Lori Petty as Judith, Lindsay Pulsifer as Tara, William Samples as Anton, and Jesse Haddock as Johnny. Basically the four characters in this episode. So yeah, I actually enjoyed this episode. I know that it's got a lot of mixed reviews on it. Some people were underwhelmed by it. Some people liked it like I did. I don't love it, but I do like it. Kind of like the last episode that I reviewed. So let's just go ahead and get into it, starting with the things that I liked about Fair Haired Child. So I really like the look of the fair-haired child. I thought it was very creepy and effective looking. Once we see the fair-haired child the first time, yeah, it's definitely creepy. Not just the look of him, but also how fast it can move, um, its capabilities. It doesn't mess around in terms of going after people. I thought there were great makeup effects on the fair haired child. Great overall look that adds to the creepiness of this episode. So that's the first thing that really sticks out. I really like the twist at the end of this episode. I really didn't see it coming. Given the logic of the demonic sacrifices that we are to go with in this episode, it makes sense. And I think it really works overall. It makes for a pretty satisfying ending to this episode, given some of the character motivations here. So yeah, the twist at the end really worked for me. They don't always work for me. Sometimes they're tacked on, sometimes they make no sense. But in this case, it was a very satisfying and unsuspecting twist, at least in my case. Very surprising, but I liked it. Um, I thought the effects overall in this episode were good, from the demonic sacrifice rituals and the imagery that was associated with that to the gore effects, which there isn't a lot of blood and gore in this episode, but there is one particular kill at the end on a window that looks great, especially. And then there's also another death that takes place in the basement, which is pretty bloody and stuff. So that worked out pretty well for me. And then finally, sorry, my eye itches there. Finally, I thought the performances were all pretty good by the four cast members here, especially Lori Petty, who, admittedly, I've never been the biggest fan of hers because I feel like she's the same character in every role that she has, everything she does. But I have to say, I liked her here. I thought she did a good job in this episode, and as did the other cast members. Yeah, I thought they all helped carry the story pretty well with their performances and given the way that their characters were written. So those are my pros for Fair Haired Child. As far as cons go, the biggest problem with this episode, I thought the pacing was really off. I feel like this episode could have been better served if it had a longer runtime, maybe a 90-minute full length movie. As a result, it's really hard to get connected to any of these characters in the story. Like the young girl, we see only for about 5 minutes before she's kidnapped. The relationship that forms between Tara and Johnny wasn't really earned in the basement because it happened so fast. We're not really as connected. Not even a lot on the parents are given here. So overall, just didn't feel as connected to where uh, with what was going on here in this episode as we could have. I thought the premise here is pretty far out there, not grounded in reality. Obviously, when you're dealing with demonic sacrifices and whatnot, just kind of ask you to go with it, no questions asked. So, that's fine. That happens in horror sometimes, but I'm just pointing that out that some of the other episodes I felt like they're a little bit more reality based, where this one's a little bit more fantasy almost. There is some questionable logic in this episode, like why are they hitting this young girl with a full size van, potentially killing her? She's on her bike towards the beginning of the episode, and this van comes out of nowhere and knocks her off and basically knocks her like 5 or 10 feet through the air. Um, given what this episode is and what their intentions were, it really doesn't make sense that they would take that chance when you ultimately need her to fulfill a sacrifice. Also, also the fact that they bought someone, this 15-year-old son, they had a boat in this lake nearby who can't swim. Why would you do that? On, of course, he turns the boat over and ends up drowning. So and then finally, I'm not sure I really cared for the visuals and the flashback scenes, the very old schooly black and white sort of flashbacks that we get here. It just didn't really work for me. So obviously a pretty mixed episode, but I did walk away with this one feeling better about it than worse. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10, just like I did my previous episode that I reviewed. This is one of those episodes that some people aren't going to like at all. Some people are going to like more. I like it. Like I said, I don't love it. So 7.5 out of 10 for episode 9, Fair Haired Child from season 1 of Masters of Horror. Go ahead and comment down below what you guys think of this episode. Do you like it more than I do, less than I do? Why not? Please like this video and hit the little notification bell down below so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos for this series. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel as well so you don't miss any of my great overall horror content. Not only the rest of this series, but the rest of the year, frankly, I have planned out. So, with that being said, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're enjoying this review series. And as always, stay scared. Bye.